Welcome to the University of Michigan International Center online course for curricular practical training. This course is designed for international students on F1 visas who wish to obtain off-campus work authorization for employment opportunities integral to their degree program before they complete their degree. Throughout this course, we will refer to curricular practical training as CPT. You will learn the application process as well as the rules you must follow in order to maintain your F1 immigration status while on CPT. CPT authorization is required for any employment opportunity you have been offered that is related to your degree program before you complete your degree requirements. Please do not confuse this with OPT, or Optional Practical Training, which is another type of off-campus work authorization for students who either are not eligible for CPT or have completed their degree program. Please refer to the International Center website for additional information on OPT. You can find the direct link to this information in the resources section of this course. This CPT course will take you approximately 30 minutes to complete. You cannot stop this course before you receive your certificate and start again where you left off. Therefore, if you are taking the certificate version of this course, you should reserve at least 1 hour to complete it, or you will be required to start over again from the beginning. First and foremost, this online course is required for all F1 students who wish to apply for curricular practical training. There are no exceptions to this requirement. After you complete the entire course, you will have the option to print a certificate confirming that you have successfully completed the CPT online certification course. This certificate is required in order to request your CPT authorization. This course is divided into 3 sections. After the first 2 sections, you will be required to take a quiz on the information you have learned in order to move on to the next section. You must answer all quiz questions correctly before you will be allowed to move on. Before you can begin working, you must have received your CPT I-20. The work authorization will be noted on page 3. This notation is your off-campus work authorization. The CPT authorization request process will be discussed in Section 2 of this course. After completing this course and printing the certificate, if you want to review any of the information you learned today, you may return to the review version of this course on the International Center website. The review version does not produce a certificate of completion. Therefore, it is very important that you complete the certificate version of this course in order to request your CPT authorization. As previously mentioned, this course is divided into 3 parts. In the first section, you will learn what CPT is, who is eligible, and how much CPT for which you can be authorized. The second section will discuss the entire CPT request process, the documentation required to submit, as well as what you need to do while you're on CPT to maintain your immigration status. The third section will take you through the final steps you need in order to produce a CPT online course completion certificate. Now we will discuss what CPT is. CPT is off-campus work authorization for internships and other job opportunities that are integral to your degree program. An employment opportunity that is integral to your degree program includes a required internship or optional work experience directly related to your degree objectives. The United States Immigration Service understands that learning occurs in a practical setting, not just the classroom. Therefore, they have established CPT as a benefit for F1 students to enhance their learning experience in the United States. This work authorization is temporary and can only be authorized 1 term at a time. It is required for any form of paid employment inside the United States. and recommended for unpaid internships. Unpaid internships generally cannot be considered as volunteer work. Employment is defined as compensation for services, which does not require that you be paid any form of money. For a position to be volunteer, it must be classified as so with the company's Human Resources Department. If you are classified as an employee in their HR database, whether you are paid or unpaid, you should have employment authorization. Please talk to an International Center advisor if you are unsure whether or not you need CPT authorization. Each CPT authorization is employer specific. Therefore, if you will be working for more than one employer, you must complete the CPT authorization process for each employer. Let's return to the concept of integral. This next slide will help you determine if your employment opportunity meets this requirement for CPT authorization. There are two types of employment opportunities that may qualify for CPT authorization. These are required internships and optional work experience. Required internships are considered to be practical work experience required by your academic department. Without this experience, you cannot complete your degree program. You may or may not be required to take a corresponding course as part of the internship requirement. If a course is required, you must follow the department instructions for that course, when to take it, and what you must do for a passing grade. An optional work experience is when you do not have a required internship for your degree program, but you have found a work opportunity that is directly related to what you are studying here at the University of Michigan. In order to meet the definition of integral, you must be enrolled in and complete an approved CPT course. Please be aware that adding a CPT course also requires that you pay the applicable tuition and fees. If your academic department does not have an authorized CPT course, you may need to apply for pre-completion OPT instead. These courses are not established by the International Center. Your academic department and the registrar must approve a new course if one does not already exist in your department. For a list of CPT courses and academic department required internships, please click on the CPT Courses Required Internships link in the Resources section of this course. Now we will go into more detail about the enrollment requirement for optional CPT authorization. For required internships, please follow your department's course enrollment procedure. For an optional work opportunity, you must take the CPT course during the same term you have been authorized for CPT. There is only one exception to this requirement. If you are requesting CPT authorization during the spring-summer term, you may take the CPT required course during the previous winter term in order to avoid unnecessary tuition and fees. Only one CPT course per term is required for CPT authorization. If you will have 2 internships during the same term, you only need one CPT course, but you will need to request CPT authorization twice, once for each employer. If you have a work opportunity that will last 2 terms, you must take a CPT class during both of those terms. Also, since the International Center cannot authorize CPT for more than 1 semester at a time, you will be required to submit 2 CPT requests. Finally, optional CPT cannot be authorized during your final term unless you can provide documentation from your academic department confirming you will complete your degree requirements by the end of that term. Once you have determined that your work opportunity is integral to your degree program, you must also check to see if you meet the following requirements. In order to be eligible for CPT, you must be currently in legal F1 immigration status. You must also have been enrolled full-time for at least one academic year. This requirement is waived only if you are in a graduate program and this program requires an immediate internship. Also, you must have a job offer at the time you request your CPT authorization, still maintain your approved U of M health insurance, and not be in an intensive English program. Next, we will discuss the amount of CPT for which you may be authorized. Although there is no maximum limit on the amount of CPT for which you can be authorized, you have been admitted to the United States in F1 status in order to go to school and complete a degree program. Therefore, a work opportunity cannot delay your normal degree progress. This means that if you have not completed your degree requirements by the completion date on your I-20, because you have worked during semesters for which you should have been studying, the International Center will not be able to give you an extension on your F1 immigration status. You may also lose your eligibility for optional practical training after you graduate. If your work opportunity requires you to work more than 20 hours a week, you must request full-time CPT. There is no maximum amount of hours on full-time CPT. Full-time enrollment is required, but remember, you cannot be working instead of studying. There is no limit to the number of months for which you can be authorized for CPT. Another very important thing to know is that if you are approved for 12 months of full-time CPT, you will eliminate your eligibility for optional practical training. Part-time CPT is for those students who have a work opportunity where they will only be required to work 20 hours a week or less. If you request part-time CPT authorization during winter or fall semesters, you are still required by immigration law to enroll in full-time coursework. It cannot in any way delay your graduation. As with full-time CPT, there is no maximum limit to the amount of part-time CPT you can be authorized. Finally, part-time CPT does not affect your OPT eligibility. Now that you know what CPT is, how to figure out if your work opportunity is integral to your degree program, whether or not you are eligible for CPT authorization, and how much CPT for which you can be authorized, you are ready to move on to the quiz for Section 1. Once you have answered all the quiz questions correctly, you will be forwarded to Section 2 of this course and learn about the CPT request process.